Hello, everybody. It's my great pleasure to welcome you virtually to our alumni conference. Clearly, I would much prefer to host you on our beautiful Haas campus for our annual day of learning and reconnecting. But my welcome to you is no less heartfelt and perhaps even more so under these really unusual circumstances. Our digital format has made it possible for alumni from all over the world to join us today. So that's one silver lining that we're really grateful for. Here at Berkeley, we have been lucky to serve under the great leadership of Chancellor Christ, which has allowed us to continue our core business of teaching and research remotely, and at the same time has allowed us to keep our community safe. Now, I know not all of our alumni and not many have been this fortunate. And so I encourage you to lean into the Haas Alumni Network for help, for jobs, for support, for friendship. And that's really what brings us here today. Our annual alumni conference is a chance to reconnect with old friends, make new ones, hear from your favorite professors like Steve Etter, who we're going to hear from soon, and learn new insights. So thanks so much for joining us. We're really happy that you made the time to be with us here today. Now, before I share a brief update about Haas, I'd just like to acknowledge the incredible challenges that we've had to overcome this year. It has been particularly tough on our students. Still, many question the status quo. They went beyond themselves in all sorts of ways, helping struggling small businesses, volunteering in the community, helping support their classmates and their spirits. We actually increased our support services for our students significantly because as they had to adjust to this new learning environment. I also want to recognize the incredible efforts of our faculty. I already saw some are already on here right now on the Zoom, and I really want to support them. They delivered courses remotely this past year, and they embraced online teaching and learning. And also our outstanding staff supported those students and faculty behind the scenes with incredible dedication and tireless efforts. Our spring semester this spring started with remote instruction, and we have gradually been able, over the last month or two, been able to offer limited outdoor instruction after success with our pilot last fall. Last fall, we had a bunch of tents outside in the courtyard. 98% of the students who participated in that outdoor pilot said it improved their mental health. I'm also really thrilled to share that all UC campuses, all of our campuses throughout California, plan to return to in-person instruction in the fall. After 14 months, Haas has come through this pandemic stronger and more resilient by working and learning together and by keeping our eyes on our shared vision. Your support during this time has been absolutely critical, and we are incredibly grateful for that. Now what I'd like to do is talk about some new programs that we've introduced and talk a little bit about our progress in growing our faculty. So let me start with academic programs. One of the things we're doing is we're really deepening cross-campus collaborations, taking advantage of the fact that Berkeley is #1 in so many different fields. And we're doing that through, in some cases, new joint degree programs, and in other cases, reviving old programs that weren't working. The first one I want to mention is the Robinson Life Sciences Business and Entrepreneurship Program, quite a mouthful. That's a joint undergraduate degree program between Haas and the Department of Molecular and Cell Biology. So you can get, as an undergraduate, you can now get an undergraduate degree in molecular and cell biology and business in 4 years. That just started. Another new program is at the MBA level. It's called the MBA Meng. You can get a master's in engineering and an MBA in 2 years, joint with our engineering school. That's also a new program that a lot of MBA students have gotten really excited about and already are doing. A third program I want to mention is a revival of an old program that wasn't working. This is our JD MBA. In partnership with Berkeley Law Dean Erwin Chemerinsky, we took the existing program, which essentially just wasn't working. We redesigned it to attract more enrollments, and we now have a much more robust program. With the law school, we'll have 10 to 15 students enrolled this next fall doing both a law degree and an MBA. We're really excited about that. The last new program I want to mention that we're working on is a new flex cohort in the evening and weekend program. So what we're working on is we're working on a new cohort of our beloved and very successful evening and weekend program where students would have a lot of opportunity to be remote. So this would be the first remote program among the very top business schools. We're really excited about that and hoping to start that program with enrollments in the fall of 2022. So now I want to move to admissions. We've also introduced some really exciting innovations in admissions. In particular, we created 2 new streams to grow our applicant pool and also to create a more diverse applicant pool. The first program is called Accelerated Access, and I'm sure a number of you have heard of it. It's open to college seniors, and they can apply to business school as seniors in college, but then they defer their admission in order to gain those really important 3 to 5 years of work experience. And our career management group will be mentoring them before they come to Haas. We're joining a group of other top universities in offering such a program. The second new program I want to mention is Cal Advantage. Cal Advantage is open to Cal alumni from the last decade, and it gives you the opportunity to apply for an MBA at Haas through a much more streamlined process as a Cal alumni. For example, the test requirement is waived, which is really important for promoting more diverse applicants. We've had tremendous success with these 2 new admissions programs. Last fall, the fall of 2020, we enrolled our largest and most diverse class in our full-time MBA program ever. Also the largest class in our evening and weekend program ever. At the same time, if you look at test scores and undergraduate GPA, we were in the very top. In fact, we were among the top 3 schools in terms of the strength of the students as measured by GPA and GMAT scores. Very exciting developments on the admissions front. Now I want to turn to another goal, which is faculty growth. You're going to hear from Kevin Chu in a little bit. Kevin has been instrumental in really in supporting this amazing new building we have called Chu Hall. What we're doing now is we're investing in not just in physical capital, but in human capital. And we've been really fortunate to add a number of state-funded faculty positions over the last 2 years, recruiting young and brilliant faculty from all over the world. As part of the Light the Way campaign that the campus is in the middle of, we've also secured 5 chancellor's chairs, which is a way to allow private donor funding matched by campus to grow the faculty, to grow the research faculty. We've also just secured funding for a 6th chancellor's chair for our real estate group, and it's going to be named in honor of Ken Rosen, one of our wonderful faculty members who I know a number of you had the pleasure to learn from. Just to give you a big picture of where we're going with this initiative, when I started at Haas a little over 2 years ago as dean, we had about 75 ladder faculty. My goal is to reach 100 by 2023. That would be a 30% increase in our research faculty, which would put us exactly in line with the student expansion that we've had in terms of more and more students over these last 40 years. Let me also mention the rankings, always very important for our business schools. All 3 of our MBA programs and our undergraduate program continue to rank very high in US News. Our evening weekend MBA is number 2. Our undergraduate program is number 3. And our full-time MBA program is number 7, where it's been for the last 10 years or so. And let me also mention our executive MBA program. Our executive MBA program is ranked at number 8 according to US News, but at number 1 according to The Economist. Finally, but last but not least, is our MFE program. Our Master's in Financial Engineering program continues to be number 1 in the financial engineer and among the top 5 in all the other financial engineering rankings. So we're doing very well on the rankings front. Let me now shift to fundraising. Despite this very challenging environment, we have seen a tremendous amount of support from our. Since the fall, we have 8 new gifts of $1 million or more, including our first gift for our sustainability initiative and a $2 million gift for our Entrepreneurship Hub. In March, Haas led the way for the campus, raising nearly $5 million in 24 hours as part of the Big Give campaign. So we raised more money from more donors than we ever have before. Thank you so much for all your support for our school. So now what I want to do is I just want to briefly update you on strategic priorities, which will take Haas to the heart of what's next. Let me start with diversity, equity, and inclusion. 2 years ago, we created the Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer role, which leads a team of staff making significant progress towards our shared DEI action plan. It's on the web if you want to review it. Right now, Elida Batista is serving as our interim Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer. Dr. Batista, who has a PhD in psychology from another great state school, University of Michigan, has been a valued member of our community since she joined as the Director of Inclusion from UCSF. As I mentioned before, we enrolled our most diverse and strongest classes in fall 2019 and 2020, thanks to Accelerated Access and Cal Advantage. Also thanks to increased scholarships, which drew a much more diverse group of candidates. In the fall, our full-time MBA program had a percentage of students of color in the program was 39%, which is really, really amazing. I just also want to mention in our DEI goal, among our DEI goals, we're developing a new required core course for MBA students on leading diverse teams. That will be led by senior faculty of the Moores Group. In particular, Laura Cray has been designing the course, and we plan to launch that new course, which will be required of all MBA students in the spring of 2020. That's it for our DEI initiative. Now I want to move on to entrepreneurship and innovation. We have received approval from campus to renovate one of the Julia Morgan designed houses on Piedmont Avenue. And there you can see what it looks like. We're going to be renovating that. It's next to Haas. It's across from the stadium. We'll be transforming it into a hub for Haas students and students from around the campus who are interested in entrepreneurship and innovation. And we're planning to open that building, the renovated building, in 2022. We're super excited about a recent gift from Haas board member Elena Gomez, BS 91. She pledged $2 million to support this initiative, and the largest room in the Entrepreneurship Hub will be named the Castaneda Innovation Forum in honor of her parents. Elena, who has been the CFO of Zendesk, she wanted to celebrate the hard work of her parents as immigrants from El Salvador and their dedication, which had led her to become a first-generation college student and a talented business executive. We're really, really excited about this. We're also welcoming several new faculty into the new Entrepreneurship and Innovation faculty group. Selene Delacourt from Stanford, Carolyn Stein and David Holtz from MIT, and Matt Grennan and Shaikat Chowdhury from Wharton. And I see that a link to that new group has just been put in the chat. So if you want to check out all these new faculty, these new, young, brilliant faculty, I would really encourage you to check it out. The head of that new group is Toby Stewart. The last priority that I want to update you on is sustainability. We celebrated Earth Day this week, so this is a great time to talk about sustainability. We hired Michelle DeNevers, coming to us from various places, including the World Bank, as our first executive director of sustainability programs. She has launched a sustainability website, which has just been put in the chat. So you can identify the many programs and initiatives that are already underway. We're also working towards some really exciting new programs. In particular, we're developing an undergraduate summer minor in sustainable entrepreneurship. And we're also developing a concurrent MBA master's degree in sustainability. Both of those programs, the summer minor and the joint degree, is with the Rouser College of Natural Resources, which is the top college for environmental issues in the United States and the world. The other thing we're doing is we're partnering with faculty to infuse a sustainability lens across our curriculum. And finally, I do want to mention one new curriculum development where we've just launched a certificate in sustainable business. And it's named for a generous gift from Charlie and Doris Michaels. And next month's MBA graduates, a number of them have already satisfied the requirement for their certificate. And so we expect that about 15 students will be graduating in May with the certificate in sustainable business. Very exciting development. And you can read about it in the on the website, which was put in the chat. So in spite of this pandemic, we're making tremendous progress towards realizing our vision to be at the heart of what's next, both literally and figuratively. And I really want to thank you all for your support. You, our alumni, have really come through for us this past year. You've given back to Haas in so many different ways, with your generosity, with your empathy, by hiring Haas, joining us as speakers, as we have our two wonderful alumni joining us today, and staying connected to us. So I also want you to know that we are here to support you. Our Alumni Relations team, led by Tenny, is creating opportunities for you to learn and connect in many ways virtually. The team is working with our regional chapters to expand programming. It's also expanding diverse alumni affinity networks for supportive conversations. You can explore your exclusive alumni benefits on the newly refreshed alumni website. Again, that's just been placed in the chat if you want to explore that. And during our lunchtime expo, you'll also have an opportunity to speak with Alumni Relations staff, as well as members of our MBA Career Management Group and Berkeley Executive Education to learn more about all these opportunities. So please continue to give back and make Haas a philanthropic priority so that we can further strengthen the value of your Haas connection. And stay engaged, lean into your network, contribute to it. The more you participate, the stronger it gets. I think we may have a minute or two for questions, although I think I may have overextended my speaking, so I'll turn it back over to Tenny.
Thank you, Anne. Actually, we do have time for a couple of questions, so we will turn to a couple that have been submitted through the Q&A feature. So Ryan Liu asks, thank you for being here today, Dean Harrison. We consistently hear about organizations needing to accelerate digital transformation due to the pandemic. How does this impact the school's vision over the next few years? Considerations for the online MBA degrees and other programs?
Yeah, so in everything that we're doing, as in what we're doing right now, today, we have moved into the digital space. So classes are being taught virtually, alumni events are being taught virtually. Executive Education's new motto is digital first. And all that learning will allow us to emerge stronger, and we'll carry it with us as we go forward. a great example of that will be our online degree program that we'll be launching in 2022. So we really believe that the pandemic has accelerated trends that were already in the marketplace, and we've really learned a lot, and we'll be taking advantage of that going forward.
Great, thank you. And one last question, and then we're going to transition to the keynote introduction. Community is such an important part of each class's experience. What are students doing to build community in a virtual environment over the past year?
Yes, that's a great question. Our students are deeply resilient, and despite the challenges they face, they've done so many different things. Having their own Slack channel has been helpful. A lot of them have met outside of Haas on their own. There are many things that our students have been doing and our alumni have been doing, some of which I probably don't even want to know about. So for example, I know our first and second year students have done a lot of socially distanced hikes, for example. But there are many different forums and many different digital opportunities, both formally through our programs and of course informally and through the regional alumni chapters. So just tremendous amount of innovation is happening.
Great, thank you, Anne.